I'm Kristen Buwalda. I am the owner of Chalk Creative LLC, which is a local hand lettering business, and I'm also the marketing director at Crater Lake Spirits. The work that I do for myself for Chalk Creative is hand lettering, and that really spans a broad range. You think hand lettering a lot and you think calligraphy, and it's not just calligraphy. It's mural art or menus at your local restaurant, or boards for your wedding, chalkboards for your wedding, or acrylic boards, paper goods, digital. I kind of do it all, and that's what differentiates me from just a standard calligrapher. It's a stylistic thing. It's word art as opposed to calligraphy as you would think of it. Really, one of the best parts of what I do is taking what people want it to say and making it legible, which is, you gotta actually take into consideration a lot of distance, like where is it going to be viewed from, what size is the board, and what spacing you need for the distance it's going to be viewed from. And then taking that and its legibility and usability and kind of meshing it with design as well, and making it really interesting and fitting the client's preferences and fitting the theme, and make them digital and make it make sense, and super nerdy and super fun. So that's what I do. I like really getting up in the early morning, like 4:30 or 5, and just being creative, and that really gets me out of bed. I like to get my ducks in a row, I like to be organized, and then I like to do something creative in the morning, whether it's working on somebody else's project or my own. It's really what drives me. The 2 chalkboards I dropped off this morning, I dropped off one at Nancy P's and I dropped off one at the new Blissful Spoon. And Blissful Spoon had a very specific aesthetic in mind. She was like, I want everything capitalized except for the title, and I'd like that in cursive, and I'd like to use this leaf motif. And I was like, okay, great, clean, we got it. And then Nancy P's was like, I want it to be, friendly and warm and kind of kitschy, kind of like we are. And so they're 2 extremely different aesthetics coming from the same person, which is kind of fun for me. I fell into hand lettering by accident. As I mentioned before, I inadvertently have been doing it all my life, and I used to do it in high school just because I didn't have the design programs, didn't know how to use the design programs, and so it was like, oh, I want to design this sweatshirt, which I did for my cross-country team and my ultimate team and all that nerdy stuff. I got married in 2013, and my caterer, Liz, with Blue Bay Catering, was like, oh my God, your chalkboards are so cute. They're great. You should do this for a living. And I was like, you're totally just feeding me a line. So this was August of 2013. In January 2014, she called me and she's like, remember we talked about doing that chalkboard thing for a business? Are you gonna do that? Because if you do, we wanna hire you. And I was like, okay, what are you gonna hire me for? And they're like, well, the Central Oregon Wedding Show is in 4 days. If you have business cards and do a couple chalkboards for us, we'll promote you. So literally, I found a name, I made business cards, I made flyers, and I made 4 chalkboards in 3 days while working my then full-time job at Verizon Wireless. So working 60 hours a week, and just tried to rattle out these boards for them. And kind of same thing, it was kind of all accidental. It was nobody's gonna pay me to do this. I've had people, when I hand out my business cards, be like, for real? You do chalkboards? I'm like, for real, I do chalkboards. And I mean, I was 2014, it's 2021, that's 7 years. I can't do math, but I do art, not math. But it's been 7 years, and people are paying me to do this. So Liz at Blue Bay Catering, it's her fault that I'm in business. And I actually still have the voicemail she left me, because every day I kind of have to pinch myself. My favorite entrepreneurial podcast is by Sean West, and he is a lettering artist. And he says, what would happen if you were to charge twice what you charge now and only lose half of your clients? And so knowing what the market can bear and adjusting your pricing accordingly is huge. But also feeling worthy of what you charge. And you'll get people who are confused by what I do versus calligraphy, because a calligrapher can, hack out 100 envelopes pretty quickly, whereas the style of what I do because it's not true calligraphy, it takes me longer, so I'm going to charge more. So that's a struggle, knowing when to refer people to other artists, when to take them on myself. And then, of course, comparing yourself to others. I mean, in the world of social media, you look at these artists, and in the last year, I've had a couple people reach out to me and been like, oh my God, it is so cool that you liked me back. Like, I've been following you for, 6 months, 2 years, whatever, and you're amazing, you inspire me. And I'm like, okay, cool. And it throws me back to when I first started and was like reaching out to people like that. My advice to other entrepreneurs is always keep doing it. Any person that you follow on Instagram who has a modicum of success is going to say, do it. Practice your happy place. Like, practice your creativity. You like organizing? Practice organizing. They made a TV show out of women organizing closets. Like, those women didn't just say, we're going to go into business. They probably just did it to their house, and their friends were like, oh, this is really cool. So just do it. Don't do anything for free. Don't give it away. The whole work for hire and the whole work for exposure, choose your battles. There's always times where working for hire and working for exposure is worth it, but really get a gauge on it before you go with that. And then know your worth. Know that the clients you want will find you if you're doing what you love, which is crazy. This job is my happy place because while it might be hard and a challenge, it's always rewarding, which sounds super cliche. It sounds super stupid, but I have never once finished a project and been like, well, that was a waste of time. I've never once finished a chalkboard and been like, that was a waste of time. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it doesn't turn out the way I want it to be. Sometimes it doesn't match my vision, sometimes they're not happy, that happens, but it fulfills a part of my soul that needs art and needs creativity in it, and I never regret having done a piece. I have found my happy place. Do you have the courage to find yours?